voters here in Nigeria have been at the polls today in the race to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari. But there have been lots of reports of late starts, disruptions, and disturbances in several areas, with many people unable to cast their vote. Well, we're joined now by strategist and policy analyst Baba Yusuf and Nwagwu, chairman partners for Electoral Reform. Thank you, both of you, for joining us. Let me start with you, Ezenwa. Well, considering the deployment of BIVAS, IREV, and all of that, there are still issues. Even, BIVAS machine snatching and all of that, irregularities, delays. What do you make of this outing today?
Thank you. I think election administration, like I've kept on saying, is on trial today. And what that means is that all of the rehearsals that we have done for this dance and song, it doesn't appear that our voice has been as sonorous as we would have loved it to be. But the big challenge is that there seems to be a determination to power through the challenges. In most of the places where the BIVAS had issues, the technicians had been called in to solve the problem. And where that has not been possible, we will see elections hold up to tomorrow. I think that generally the challenge of logistics has become perennial, and it was actually foretold that we are going to have this challenge. But I think that at the end of the day, we will see how Inec responds to the challenges. In many places, voting is still going on even till now, and that itself is a testament to the resilience that one of your reporters talked about, and that is something I think we can look back to and be encouraged that we're going to power through this challenge.
Let me bring in Baba Yusuf. A lot of Nigerians were optimistic until this very moment. Did you think Inec was caught pants down?
This issue is a recurring decimal in the election cycle of Nigeria, or cycles of Nigeria. I alluded it earlier in the day to our cultural issue, our corporate cultural issue of waiting until the last minute before we go on to start making preparations. Issues of execution quotient from a project management perspective. You see slippages on logistics issues, operational issues, technology issues. This is a culmination of it. From the beginning of the day, we saw delays in startup, which of course will trigger a domino effect and even apply pressure to the operators, or if you like, the participants, in trying to ensure that the election goes as smooth as possible. These are critical issues, and the expectation is because of the recurring issues, learning points would have been taken before now to make provision for backups, and work with scenario-based situation. If this fails, this happens. We wonder why we are having a situation where it is this morning, you start a process late, and people come to where they are supposed to exercise their franchise, only to be told that they have been transferred to a location that apparently some of the INEC officials do not know. There is no correlation, there is no coordination in trying to ensure that even when this kind of situation happens, it is taken care of. It is uncalled for. We expected a better performance, to be honest, but it is what it is. We expect that between the next 24 hours, things will be better. Of course, a lot of time has been lost at this critical moment. We don't know how time will be saved, but indeed time has to be saved because people have prepared and looked forward to exercise their franchise, and they should not for any reason be left behind.
Ezenwa, there have been allegations of voter suppression in parts of the country. We got, reports from the CDD actually breaking down in terms of electoral materials delivered in parts of the country. Southeast, 6%. As at the time this report came out, it may have improved, as the day unfolds. Well, and the Northwest 24%, Northeast 26%, South around 10–11%. What do you make of that? And I'd also like you to address whether it's a moral question or a legal question, the flashing by the president of his ballot paper after voting. What do you make of all of this?
First, the pattern will give credence to the suspicion of voter suppression, and because it's not just in this particular 2023 election. If you double down a bit to 2019, you also see that there were late openings in the southeast and the south-south. So I think that first of all, election audits are supposed to throw up lessons that electoral managers can use to ensure that we don't get into a ritual. The ritual of always going back to the same issues that we're expecting that we will overcome. The conversation around MOUs being entered with the vendors, the NURTW, the maritime folks, and all of that was some kind of assurance. But we did make the call at that time that we are getting into a ritual. The fact that you signed MOU, the ones that were breached in time past, what were the sanctions that followed them? And so it boils down to the fact that we just do these things. But much more importantly is the fact that in good time, logistics is Inec's biggest nightmare. When you now combine it with the Naira crunch, the challenge that of fuel and all of those things, any right-thinking person will have known that we're going to have issues today, and that has played out. And that's why I talked about the issue about overcoming those challenges and ensuring that majority of our citizens have opportunity to vote. You talked about whether it's a legal or moral question. Well, the issue is that election is a law determined thing. Everything is in election is determined by either the Constitution or the Electoral Act. And the challenge is the gap between intentions and implementation. And the call is therefore that Inec, the security agents, and all the other stakeholders who have responsibility to ensure that we do not go through this again, do the needful. And for me, is what this is about.
Okay. I guess so that's what we have to leave it.